one of my friends, one of my church buddies, decided to give me a Gary Whetstone Liberty in Christ, and it's a study guide. It's a study guide from 1900s, basically. Gary Whetstone, the study of God and His power and His Spirit. Also, the awakening of introduction and expectation of righteousness. Introduction and expectations in the beginning of righteousness, the fall from the righteousness and the meaning of the sin. It's awake to His righteousness, the righteousness of the ordination is risen. Um, so yeah, it's my phone is lagging really bad, but the summit of it, the righteousness introduction and expectations, because our expectation in life is varies from our feelings, and most of the time our feelings can be false. We can be we can be having expectation of ourselves because we were raised um, in a generation where you gotta submit, you gotta listen, you gotta obey, you gotta sit in class, you gotta be quiet. Um, you were raised to be a worker, and other factory worker where you obey certain things that are not important for you, because in radical movement of even Christianity, it's you being suppressed by China, Japan, like countries that are making you life obeyable. And if you're not, this is what I want to talk about. If you have been disobedient in the family, you're gonna get punished by certain things. Um, I don't know, going for fun things, or even understanding that I have a 4-year-old, and that 4-year-old, if he doesn't listen, um, I gotta expect to for him to understand that in life, we don't always get what we want, and if we end up getting what we want, then most of the time, um, we expect it to be coming like right away. You expect it to be somebody who you're not, because there's two kind of righteousness, and this is what I want to say. You're expected to be holy, because in righteousness there's no other way than just the righteousness of God. God gives us the righteousness, and it's not earned, it's not merited or deserved. It's very important to know that we it's a gift from God, and pulled it into what not only Jesus what did, but for his for what the future was bringing to the Lord, because he is exalted. He is there's nothing you can do to have the righteousness. Um, it's given to you, and it's only be exalted in His name that the righteousness is. It's not to be earned. It's something to be free given. Um, so yeah, it's it's definitely a living through your past history and not having any effect. That's what the in an ability to stand firm in the beliefs of effect of there is something to be greater um, yet to come, because there is shame, there is guilt, and those things can really shape you in the future self, because to relate to God is to disobey people. You will rational oppression of your past history, making you inferior educated, and also the age and experience, because there's, like, let's say my mom was born in the Soviet Union, so she thinks it's a great country, but if if let's say I was born in the ages when the Ukraine, the the Georgia, like, those countries didn't exist before. It was something that, yeah. So it's a gift from God. Righteousness is distributed by painful feelings of guilt, shame. This is shame. Um, Disturbed by painful feelings of guilt, incompetence, dishonor, and disgrace. If you have, um, there's a very specific situation in my life that I want to speak. When a provocative journal was opened when I was 5 years old, and to understand that if I know a woman is something not that, and I consider her as more than um, something that is beautiful. It's something that God created. So we cannot look in shame and guilt and say, let's say I watch pornography and I don't consider myself um, I don't consider myself to have that shame, because if I didn't have shame, I wouldn't have watched being porn. And afterwards, there comes the guilt part, because you're just watching somebody, like, it's not something that God God intended. God created sex for to be wonderful, and but it turned into something very, not saying living through your past history is not having any effect, but in my relationship with the Lord, I found out that the more we trust in Him, it's the more He shows up for ourselves. Because the more we're trying to, um, the more we try to tell ourselves that we have this under control, and if something goes wrong, it's definitely woo, praise the Lord. Righteousness of God is the key to revelation to us to be able to walk in faith, because faith without works is dead. Also, it comes with health, prosperity, victory over sin, victory over Satan, safety and peace, because all promises of God are is the fellowship of God. We know that God doesn't, righteousness of revelation would absolutely change me, and it did. Um, to understand that for 30 some years I was living in the blindness life of my just feelings and emotions, and most of the things that came out of it was just anger, and not misunderstanding of the actual point of to be a better man, a better husband, a better model to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're just you you take the accountability and responsibility for your actions. Like, nobody else will, um, can't really tell you what to do unless it's unless you're a parent or whatever, and you're just trying to help your children to be better, to be better humans. Like we are in the moment of what can I bring to them, because in our situation, oh no 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 no. The expectations. Um, Everybody has expectations for you, yourself, and them. But if you put those expectations somewhere where you don't give a crap, you can be a very mean person to somebody. And trying to understand that we are expecting a lot of things from other people and we don't get that back, it hurts a lot. Especially, oh, the expectations of righteousness, revelation would absolutely change you. It will change the way that you think, because it the inferiority and the insecurities and fears will subtract glory from God. The behavior pattern, which is you be underrated. It's like Isaiah 54:11 through 17. Although efficiently tossed with tempest and not confronted, behold, I will lay thy stone with fair colors, and lay them foundations with sapphires. I'll make thy wisdom of ages, and any gates of carbunacles, and all the borders of pleasant stone. We are inheritance of something greater than just being work 9 to 5. Or also the behavioral pattern, which seems to be underrated. It's in the verse 17, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in the judgment through is condemned. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the righteousness is of me, saints of the Lord. No weapon is formed against me should prosper. So there are things that happen in my life that every day I have to go through battles, and to understand that if we let our emotions walk first, we are condemned to be a very lost soul. In my reality of being a good son and a good husband led to me to understand that I made a lot of mistakes, because even a few days ago, like, it doesn't seem much, but if somebody types something about your wife that is not really nice, and then you don't say anything, it comes out really bad, because I should have defended. I should have defended even my my old grandma, who sadly enough, she passed away because her sons didn't take care of her when she was older. And trying to understand that we can matter for somebody else more than, why wouldn't we help? Why wouldn't we help the ones that we need, that are in need? So yeah, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that is shall rise against thee, the judgment shall not condemn. There are people in your life that are gonna be trying to kill you, like literally, not even probably physically, but even mentally or even verbally. There are people that will tell you some nasty stuff, and you will probably not even get upset because you think that they're nobody. But when your own mother is trying to tell nasty stuff about your wife, it hurts a lot because once your wife is being so nice that she won't even say a word back, and then here we are trying to understand that where did this come from? Like, why is there so much hate in the up in both spectrum of why do I have to keep my peace when sadly enough the peace is when you have somebody that you don't want to be part of your life. And here I am in the borderline where hey, I made some mistakes. Um, not as as myself, but as somebody who I was trying to be. And if you're trying to be somebody who you're not, and you're trying to pretend to be somebody that you understand that you're not yourself. You're trying to please somebody, and for even a couple months, I had to go to Ukraine to help my uncle who was dying, and trying to understand that after a couple weeks that he would throw fists at me because he took the wrong pill or whatever, or he had some sort of aggression and anger because I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand why do people try to help people who they don't want to help. Um, in my case, I had a client who struggled with obesity, and I was trying to take the roast beef away from him, and he was like, "Give me that roast beef" or something like that. And you try to understand, like, I don't want to get in arguments with you. You're struggling with salt, and here I am trying to take away the one thing that is killing you. You know, let's say I do drugs and I smoke weed or I do crack. Like, if you don't do that, you won't lose your teeth. If you don't do that, you won't lose your hair. Like, trying to understand that, hey, we all got issues, but some issues will ruin your life from the inside. And most of the time that we don't understand that a healthy relationship is sometimes taking your mom away from your wife because your mama doesn't understand why she's so rude or mean to your wife in a way that you get upset yourself. It's like, hey, how can I change this? How can we bring people together to have uh, peace and quiet? You know, not even peace and quiet, but just loving parents from both sides. You know, when my wife's parents met me, um, they loved me more than my own stepdad, and in a way, he loved quietly, like. But they were verbally. They were like, "Hey, how can I like? Don't wash dishes. Um, stay with us. You know, like your future wife will wash the dishes because she needs to be submissive or whatever." But in that way, I was fighting. I was fighting because they were getting upset that I was doing the dishes when I just wanted to serve them. Like maybe I was doing too much, but I wanted to be the unique uh, self who was actually caring more than like, hey, sit down with us. It's not your job, you know. And if I would have got upset myself, if I would have upset or them because they would, um, I would be like, hey, like, of course I will sit down with you guys and I'll let my future wife wash the dishes. But I'm glad I didn't do that because right now I'm in a position where I understand that we all hurt at some point, and somebody hurts somebody else more. And if my parents-in-law hurt my mom, who would I try to defend? My mom or her parents? Because they didn't try to hurt her. They were just trying to be funny in a way that, like, they were just trying to be themselves. When you're trying to be yourself, you don't. You can say things. You're open to say things that will probably hurt somebody else. I'm trying to get this camera not working. There you go. Anyway, my point of this conversation is that sometimes, sometimes we can hurt people that we don't try to hurt, and we need to realize at what point we can cross the borders of the line of, hey, I messed up. Like I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have done that. And trying to understand the the codes of a good parent, because in certain ways I didn't have good parents, and I don't blame my mom because she tried to raise me and she tried to work. But now I come to the point where it's like, dang, like my son is way smarter than I was at that age, because video games don't build you up. And when you have a kid who is almost engineering, and you're just trying to, you don't try to put yourself, let's say I would like to have basketball skills for my kid. I wouldn't I wouldn't force it, because he's a great, um, he's a great little dude who outsmarts me in a million ways. Because let's say we have Matthew, who is trying to ask you questions about galaxies, and here you are try to learn with him, because as I was little, I love galaxies, but I didn't like the names or anything. So here we're trying to understand, do we explain him the names of it because people name them, or do we explain the patterns that actually happen? Let's say I saw a shooting star and I say, hey, look, I'm telling him a shooting star. Shooting star is a shooting star. Shooting star is a comet that will break off the shooting star, and it's already dead. So if you're trying to be as like, oh, romantic, and let's let's wish on this super shiny star. You can be romantic, but at one point you need to realize you need to tell them the truth. And the earliest you tell them the truth is the better, because um, at one point you're understanding that even today, when I tell my son, oh yes, son, I will do anything for you. I will go. I will do everything. And he grows up and he's just one spoiled brat. I was spoiled. Like, I grew up very spoiled because I understood my expectations of the people around me needed to give me that. So when you have somebody like a child who get away with everything, when he gets away with everything, he will get away with a lot of things in life, and the life will put you right back in your chair to understand that you can't do those things. Um, like, even one of my friends at work, he was a great dude making a lot of money. And then here you are, like, going 160 miles an hour. And you go 160 miles an hour, and then you will have to get a stop by a police officer, and he will tell you that, hey, like, you're a convict. You're now, like, you're being in danger. You're being if you're going 160 miles an hour and you're trying to understand that you shouldn't be doing that, and then you're still doing that, you probably shouldn't be doing that. But in my understanding, when I was driving fast and I was not in the humans, like I was on the road, I was on the track, I was on the road where you are allowed to go fast. So when you're trying to when you're trying to be a Ferrari or like a Formula Uno and driving so expressively fast, you're not only being a weapon because you're endangering not only yourself but others, and also those around you, because if you're forbid crash, some people will be missing you and those people will be hurt. So the expectations of yourself and trying to understand that, like, hey, I'm gonna do this because I feel like I want to do it, and then again, you shouldn't be doing that because you feel so. In my understanding um of I was as little as I was, um I had to understand that there was no problem. It's not a problem, we can get through it. And it actually grew in me by this day, trying to understand, like, hey, we'll get back to this, okay? We'll get back to this later, and like, we'll get through this, And in certain things in my life, um, even at work, when you have to deal with people who are very aggressive, and they're very needy because they expect you to do those things because they have some sort of um, level level of expectation, and most of the time, I if I was myself, I would tell them no, like, I'm not gonna do that, and they would ask you, well, why are you here? Like, why don't you go home if you don't want to do this? And then you are doing the things that, oh. So yeah, I'm very grateful for this book that my friend gave me, The Liberty in Christ. The expectations of yourself and what God has promised are two different things. So let's say I was raised in an abusive family, and um, I wasn't raised by anybody except the streets that you grew up with. You understand that the life of family man is different about from the things that you were taught, the drugs that you were using, or even the friends that you were talking to. Because here you are, um, here you are in a society where um, you were surviving. You were surviving day by day. You weren't surviving because you lost a couple teeth, or you were surviving because you were in that situation, and you were actually liking that situation because it was giving you that adrenaline, or the fear that you will not be like somewhere else, And in my situation, even right now, where the church told me not to come, not to go there, because they thought I would be telling stuff about somebody else that weren't kind or good. And here I am trying to go to church because I want to bring my kids there, and I want for them to see that consistency is a key, like consistency of a friendship, or it doesn't break down tomorrow because you were upset and or you yell at him or at her. consistently comes with understanding that we're human, we make mistakes, and we shouldn't be oppressing somebody because they're not going to fight back, you know. And in most of the situation where um, the poor children suffer, let's say for for my situation, let's talk about Disney. Like, you know that a lot of kids were abducted or used and used for different things. And in my situation, you meet those people, you know how they act. They're looking for that vulnerability. And in my case, I found three different scenarios when I was little, where you had to run away because it was not okay to be offered alcohol at certain age, and it wasn't okay to be offered a job that was drinking, you know, because you understand like why they trying to make you not sober. Why do they why do they why do you even try to do that? Because in my situation, when you grow up with a guy who tries to tell you to dress up in a dress, and you're trying to understand the psychology about it, because the psychology about it is that you're trying to suppress somebody who is vulnerable. And in my situation, I don't understand why, after so many years, you know that this person is not in the right mind, and God forbid you have children. So I wonder if God doesn't didn't give him children because you understand that those kind of people are very sick. And when you are in a relationship, if it's he's your father or if he's your stepdad, and you express those feelings by living with him and trying to understand that I don't want to be like that guy because he beat up his mother. And if your mother is beating my wife with verbal, um, just emotions of just a train wreck, you understand that God God didn't give that hate to her because she hates her. She's just in so much pain from all her previous life that you try to understand that we all hurt, but why do we hurt back? That's the thing. Like, if you if you like grab a pit bull and you raise him with aggression, and you beat him up, I mean, of course you'll go to jail, but second of all, the dog is gonna be very angry, and one day he will bite you, because not because you give a hand off, but because he was feeling so much pain prior to that. And in our reality, we don't know the levels of the trauma of this, that, just me being, um, in any way, if I choose to be traumatized by going skydiving, but um, I hate heights and I jump just to beat it or stuff. You expected to not have those feelings because you did it, but in some way you repress those feelings. So I am grateful that in the Bible times, when the Lord was walking this earth, there were people who were suppressing themselves and going over and preach the gospel and tell them the good news, even though they knew they were gonna get beat up or thrown in jail, or even crucified. So in today's world, when we are thinking that we get oppressed by somebody tell you something, or even the F word, or because like I work in a very nasty environment, and trying to understand those nasty environments build you up or they break you down. You need to be the light in the world, and maybe God is using me to shine a light in that dark world, because for one way out, if you let yourself down that road, you will not get out, because you will follow those leads of cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, uh, cussing. Like, it will bring you to your knees, because in reality, all those things that will doesn't build you up. It just it shows that we're so hurt. Like, if I would smoke weed every day just to suppress my trauma, I would understand that I'm hurting myself right now, because I'm destroying my lungs, I'm destroying my brain, I'm destroying the body that God gave me, and trying to understand that, hey, I gotta stop, because from my situation, I was addicted to weed for 15, 16 years, and try to understand that it wasn't just, it was behavioral change that made me do this, because I was going to the car, I was getting money, I wanted to get away. Like, you don't get away from the things in life that God gets you to build from. And God showed me something in a couple of days ago when I was reading through Matthew, when he says that if the seed doesn't die, it will not bear any fruit. If the seed doesn't die, it won't produce anything. And in my situation right now, with even YouTube, my wife's been hurt for so many years that I put her less in my YouTube channel. And I just want to apologize right now, if she will watch this later, that I did not mean to put you less than this channel. So, if you ever have somebody who's trying to get your attention and they're loving you should be nice to them. Uh, by that being said, I was about to go to bed. I was about to go to bed because I have to work tonight for 12 hours, and yesterday I was so hurt. My groin was so hurting that I've been wearing the same boots that I wore in Ukraine for the last 2.5 years, and I definitely pulled my inside of my muscle groin, because the boots are heavy, and I don't know why I did not wear shoes that require no any extension or heavy lifting. So I'm glad, praise God, that I was using a voucher from my work to get those things done. It's definitely been a blessing to see how your children grow. It was definitely understanding of how God raised me from the dead, raised me from the ashes, raised me from my bottom of my misery into something beautiful. He showed me, He gave me, He abundantly, sufficiently um, give me more than I ask, more than I ever could ask. And of course, there's a verse in the Bible where it says, knock and it will be open, ask and you shall receive. And in my life, I've asked too much. I've asked too much. I expected too much. The expectation of me and just being so less understanding a lot of people. Because nobody owes you anything. And I didn't get that. I didn't get that because I'm grateful for what mom give me. I'm grateful for the time that she left me because he basically showed me that even your loved ones will break you. And sad, sad enough to say that I am blessed because God not only gave me my mom, but He gave me a father, and not like a father, but He gave me a donor, a seed, because He blessed me with the understanding that your parents will fail you, your kids will leave you, your house will be in ruins one day. Even the little ones who who you expect to, because you don't expect anything from children. Like, I'm so grateful that my children still come to me and expect me to give them that loving, because I can give them that. I can give them that because I didn't have that, and I understand that how much they need. Um, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful that the cycle of the trauma ends, the hurts, the misunderstood. It's a great joy to understand that the Lord give me what I can endure. And trying to understand, one of the counselings said, man, I've never seen so much brokenness in you, but I'm amazed how you didn't go crazy. And in a way, you understand that the love is sufficient. Jesus Christ died for us because He loves us first. And it's wonderful to understand that He had a greater plan. And His plan is better than your plan and my plan. Trying to understand that God didn't give you the things that you cannot endure. And some things can suck. I remember um, I found out the song that It Is Well With My Soul. It Is Well With My Soul, wrote by a man who lost his everything. He lost his children, he lost his wife, on a shipwreck. And he wrote the song, It Is Well With My Soul. So thank God that we don't have to endure through all the this much pain, but we have the blessings to be something greater. Even like when you understand that I don't party too much. I didn't party too much in high school. I stay home and I got upset at myself because I didn't I didn't get invited by the people that I expected them to invite me because I thought I would be their friend. And now I understand that the Lord was just keeping me safe from the drunkenness because in my situation, um, my family is all alcoholics. My my bloodline is full of alcoholics, and I'm grateful that I didn't go through there. I didn't go through that path of trying to numb my pain through alcohol. I did try to numb my pain through weed, but thank God I understood that it doesn't numb anything, it just makes you dizzy. So yeah, guys, stay away from drugs, stay from alcohol, love your wife, love your mother even though she hates your wife, and sometimes the church will oppress you so bad that you will not understand why do they hate you that much because you were just trying to bring your kids to church. You weren't you weren't trying to lead anybody into temptation, or you're not trying to tell them that they're fat or skinny or whatever they feel like. It's wonderful to understand that you've been in a few different countries and you want to be in a few more. But the Lord definitely showed me in those last days that I put the labels on people that I shouldn't have. And sometimes trying to understand that labeling people or their pain or whatever, it doesn't bring anything up. Because in many cases, when you label people with their either for the alcohol or drugs, also what we have for righteousness. First John first chapter verse first third. That which is was from the beginning, which we have heard, which is we have seen with our eyes, which is we have looked upon, and our hands have held the world of life. For the life was manifested, and we have seen it, and we bear witness, and shew unto you the eternal life which was the Father was manifested unto us. The show of revelation forth or manifest of God. And 1 Corinthians 14:2 it says, for that we have spoke in unknown tongues. Sometimes we can say things that we think are right, or sometimes we can be doing more peace and quiet than just trying to encourage somebody with the wrong words. And it's definitely what happened in my life when you trying to encourage somebody something and you're just making it worse. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I should have shut my mouth. In many cases, we can oppress our feelings for a better outcome, because sometimes when we say things that we want to say, it doesn't come out very well. Especially when we're going through emotions. It brings the ugly in us. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. If you ever know anybody who produces music, let me know, because we've been struggling with that thing. We definitely need somebody who can produce. How are you guys? You've been what? Nothing, saying nothing. Oh, currently Emperor not to hear much. Oh, sorry, bro. I don't read spam. This bag of sunflower seeds has cost $4.60, and there's 300 grams of sunflower seeds. Let me know that you're not crazy buying a $4.60, 300 grams of Ukrainian sunflower seeds. It takes a lot of guts to. In Ukrainian money, $4 will equally to buy you a bag of potatoes, 2 pieces of loaf of bread, a gallon of milk that doesn't exist because there's no gallons in there, and probably go to the restaurant and spend another good dinner for two. That is equally enough to spend enough money. Me and my wife watched The Chosen today. Season 4, episode like 4 or 5. Really funny stuff. Like, when you know that God has a humor, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing that you cannot give up on your life. Don't be so depressed. Look at this guy punching the tower. Man. Somebody get that guy. Come on, bro. You can do it. There you go. Good job. I get an assist for that. I haven't. Why don't you hit anybody, broski? It's very sad what's going on in the world. The drones are destroying kids, while the other ones trying to support the country by buying the drones. Keep prayer, keep police, my mother-in-law in prayer. She's got some sort of health issue and she needs to go to Germany, I guess, but she was supposed to be actually getting a green card visa. She was supposed to be getting a tourist visa, and she got declined because she was just from Ukraine. It's sad. Oh, my lovely mother texted me a couple days ago saying that we blocked her. Meanwhile, she was just saying nasty stuff about her family. She didn't get blocked. She got removed. Problem. Wondering. Wondering, sniper. There's so much drama through my entire life that I could probably write a book. And you guys won't believe it. Not because I wanted it, but because I thought it was okay to move it over. My mother keeps pushing that I got raped by a teacher, but she doesn't understand that she's raping my wife's brain just because she just does things that she just doesn't understand. So, who's home? Who's home? Wow, what's up? And I said, okay.